Just like I was saying, love means different things to different people at different points in their lives. Just like the word love can be a noun, a verb, or even an adjective. Why do people marry for a long while only to divorce when society thought they had a beautiful union? Beautiful because that's the impression they created. Beauty because none of them could even have the courage to share what they were going through, because there was no way society and religion would believe. Ladies and gentlemen, marriage has long been considered a sacred and lifelong commitment celebrated by society and upheld by religious institutions as a symbol of love, partnership, and endurance. When couples stay together for decades, they are often admired, seen as role models of a successful and beautiful union. Yet, we are witnessing a growing trend where long-term marriages, ones that seem unbreakable, end in divorce, leaving many people to ask, what went wrong? What is going wrong? What are we not doing right? The truth is, the length of a marriage does not always reflect the strength of its foundation. Let us therefore explore some of the deep-seated reasons why couples who have been together for many years may choose to part ways, despite appearing to have a perfect relationship in the eyes of society and religion. I don't sit here to profess to know it all. I learn along the line after working with people. And these are things we all know, just like I always say. But many a time we need someone to consistently remind us. So it will be the wake-up call we need to do what must be done. Number one, emotional disconnect over time. Today, we won't go into why we chose. Anyway, if you don't have my books, get copies. It would bless your soul. This is getting married and staying married. It's not just about the getting married, but the staying married. If you want your marriage to glorify God, it is the staying marriage. Staying married, not just the getting married. The staying married is what matters, not just the getting married. And how can two people live together in harmony is the challenge. After 7 years, when I have learned, when I have matured, when life has happened to me as a person, and when I've worked with people for all these years, I came up with Keziah at 50, the journey called life. If you don't have a copy and you're in Ghana, you can WhatsApp the Lady Keziah Consult. Pick the WhatsApp number from my page and you can get your copies. If you're outside Ghana, go to Amazon and you find copies too. You see, marriage, number one, emotional disconnect over time. Many couples stay together for years out of duty, routine, or societal expectations. However, emotional connection is what sustains a marriage. And when partners stop investing in each other, emotionally, they grow apart. So don't think you can pray and your prayers will sustain your marriage when you don't emotionally invest into your partner. You would grow apart. A marriage can survive financial struggles, yeah. A marriage that a husband and his wife are working together. Oh, hi, Eddie, thank you for being here. Are working together as a team. Nothing can break that marriage. But when both of you want to serve your own individual selfish gains, that's when trouble arises. So even financial struggles, you can work through them. And parental challenges, even external pressures. But emotional neglect, it creates a silent void. Over time, Partners may realize they are merely coexisting rather than truly sharing their lives. The bond will break automatically. Once you stop investing into each other emotionally, know that there is no marriage. What you have is cohabitation. We'll get to know the process of divorce for you to see whether you are still in the heart of your partner or your marriage is just hanging. You are sitting on a time bomb. Number 2, suppressed unhappiness and unmet needs. Suppressed unhappiness and unmet needs. And this is the point I want to ask Ghanaian women. Why don't you take good care of yourselves when you are married? Why do you look tattered and unkempt, portraying a holier than thou attitude, only to divorce and then you show us how beautiful you are? What is the meaning of that? What is the meaning of that? That when you are married, you want everybody, and I don't get it. It is only when the cookie crumbles that you come back to your senses and realizes that there's a woman in you that needs to be taken care of. Why can't you be a thriving, exciting, a happier and healthier wife and mother too? Why this trend? That some of you are preaching and teaching, so be a makeup ebony, or be a niti ebony, only for you to divorce and now you are in your element. What kind of deception is that? Many individuals in long-term marriages endure years of silent dissatisfaction, believing that love means sacrifice. Of course, there's an element of sacrifice and love, but love doesn't mean killing yourself for somebody else to be successful. And that is why I said get a copy of this book, because I've done preambles to singles, to married couples, and to significant others. And I've asked some questions there I can't find a word for. And I've also tabled out why God and the universe will never give anybody's life to another person. Let me read from the book, so you go and get your own copy. As I wrote 7 years ago, and I still stand by these. Number 1, the covenant of marriage is not just between a husband and his wife, but also involves God. How come when you disconnect from a person emotionally, spiritually equally disconnect too, and get to a place that nothing about the person concerns you? Marriage is not just what you see. There's a deeper and a higher force to it. I still believe in that. Number 2, no matter how much one prepares for marriage, nobody will have a problem-free marriage because it involves two imperfect human beings. I still believe by that. And that's the more reason why we are supposed to learn and grow and evolve. So if we think what we know is enough and we get married and 10 years, 20 years, we are still the same, we would trouble our partners big time. And number 3, I wrote 7 years ago, and I still stand by it. That marriage can take you to places you have never been before, experiences you never bargained for. And finally, I wrote, and I still stand by it, that God will never put anyone's life in another person's hand to make it miserable. Unquote, by Keziah. Go get these 2 books. They'll bless your soul. Many individuals in long-term marriages endure years of silent dissatisfaction, believing that love means sacrifice. Religion and societal norms often encourage endurance over personal fulfillment, leading individuals to suppress their needs. However, as people grow older and gain new perspectives, if I were a teacher in a classroom, I would say underline the new perspectives. As people grow and gain new perspectives, they may reach a point where they no longer wish to live in an unfulfilling relationship. And this is where society and religion will never understand. It's about time we began having these difficult and yet necessary conversations. So we'll tailor our teachings and normal conversations around these difficult and yet necessary conversations. As people grow and gain new perspectives, they reach a point in life where they can still not hold on to dysfunctional relationships. Hi, Peter. Thank you for being here. What that simply means is the fact that somebody married you doesn't mean you're supposed to be the same. You're supposed to grow, become better, evolve. But if you're still the same, after 10, after 5, after 15, after 20 years of marriage, when your partner has grown, developed, evolved, what are you talking about? How on earth would you expect this person to still live with you and still find fulfillment? God hasn't given anybody permission to make another person's life miserable. A marriage is not a license to make anybody else's life miserable too. What was once tolerated in youth may become unbearable in later years. Many of the reasons that kept women in unproductive relationships are no more washing. O men jawari o be da show ma, and there are lots of women o man show ma. O men jano awu hana wu hana wu ha enye. Today there are lots of women o wu pa ko wu me nu we anything on will be you. Even if they divorce, they will still not have children. So many of the things that kept people in marriages, they are no more washing. And it's about time we had these conversations such that we'll grow in different perspectives. But if we look up and think all we know is your way or the narrow way, then enyamabeji and sim. And don't forget, our children are picking paradigms of marriage based on all these things they see, witness, and take notice of. There are women who can get their own roof over their heads. So it's not no more about on show ma non show. They can take good care of themselves. They need people to do life with. There are men who can outsource everything in the home, from cooking to cleaning to everything they can outsource. They can pay people to do these things for them. So they are not marrying you because they need a house manager. They can hire a house manager. They can do many of these things themselves. So if you think you have a bad character, if you think you can't grow, you can't become better, and the person is supposed to just keep you for the sake of being in marriage, it might not wash in this age. Some people just want their piece of life. It's not because they want to even be in another relationship. They just want their piece of life. Just to live peaceful lives. As they grow and take hold of their lives, they realize peace of mind is paramount, and they won't trade that for anything. They need something else aside a man providing for them and their children, because they can do these things. Men need more than just a woman coming to cook, clean, and give them sex. They can get these things from anywhere, anytime. So all those things that kept people in dysfunctional marriages are no more washing. And that is why we are supposed to grow, evolve, become better, and learn. Number 3, changing identities and personal growth. As humans, we evolve, just like I said. The person someone married, the person you married 25 years ago or at age 25 is not the same person at age 50. There are people my age, whether males or females, who, if they are to be on the dating market again, it will be difficult for them to even make a choice. because a lot of growth have taken place in them. Over the years, personal ambitions, values, and interests may change. So the same things that got them excited and attracted to you, they've grown out of them. They've communicated this to you in many ways for you to understand. You are not willing, ready, and able to grow along with them. What are they supposed to do? Personal ambitions, values, and even interests may change significantly. If both partners do not evolve together or fail to accommodate each other's growth, they may wake up one day feeling like strangers. And many of the problems of divorce starts from this angle. When the gap is too wide, when the man you married, a brother so and so, is now a manager of a company, and you still see him as that boy you married. When that girl you married, who couldn't even take care of herself, whether she will eat, clothe, feed, or because salum kraji woman is car. When this woman now can financially take care of herself and even the children, support the home, is heading a company, a department, and you still see her, treat her as that young girl you married. You can speak to your partner anyhow, whether in public. Sometimes when I'm speaking at especially churches, I go early to go and sit and observe. You might call me a tactical witch, I understand. I just observe body language and observe the unspoken words. And my question is, even in public, sorry that and I want to partner kasa say, and this is your body language. What happens when the two of you are in the bedroom alone? No respect, no dignity to human values, no appreciation, no nothing. The same person you married over all these years, you can't accept the fact that the person has evolved, and you should equally evolve alongside him or her. Every human being has the tenacity to evolve, become more and become better. And if the partner suppresses or hinders this actualization, the partner feels wasted. This realization can lead to a painful decision to separate, even after many years of commitment. Number 4, the empty nest syndrome. And that is what I'm begging every married couple to take note. Because whether you like it or not, they would hit your home. Either you are in, or you have experienced it, or you are going to go through some points. It is something that would happen at all cost. And that's why some of us are here, to help you preempt and prevent these things, because automatically it would hit your home. That is the empty nest syndrome. For many couples, children are the central focus of their marriage. Once they start having children, every other thing about each other ceases. They spend decades raising a family, often neglecting their relationship in the process. Everything has to do with their children. So when there's emotional detachment, then the love is transferred to these children at the neglect of the spouse. When these children grow up and leave home, that's when couples find themselves alone together. Alone together, but emotionally disconnected. Emotionally disconnected. You were alone together. And Kamasha Muma, friend, whether in the university, tertiary, they have left home, they are on their own. That's when you could still bond based on how you started and how you build upon it. That is when you come back with all the feeling and the atmosphere of courtship and the early years of marriage. But if you neglected one another and your focus and the love, attention, everything were just to raise the children. When the children leave, 1 + 1 will not be automatically 1. It would be 2, because that is the logical conclusion. Without the shared responsibility of parenting, they may struggle to rediscover their bond, leading to a realization that their marriage was held together more by duty than by love. Duty. It has nothing to do with love. Number 5, unresolved resentment and accumulated hurts. Unresolved resentment and accumulated hurts. When people go to church together, wearing the same attire, celebrating their anniversaries, going for prayer, going for this together, and yet there are unresolved resentment and accumulated hurts. The way you treat your partner when in your view he or she is a nobody can come back to haunt you big time when they become somebody. These are terminologies in our own language that we understand. When you marry and you think the person is a nobody because you feel higher, you are the well-educated person, you are the financially solvent, so you mistreat this person, disrespect him or her so much. Listen, the tables can turn anytime. The tables can turn anytime. Unfortunately, some people are vindictive. They don't forget, even when they forgive. The pain you cause them will cause them to be Machiavellian. When you know those kind of people? Yeah. So when you hear people saying they are Christians, they are believers, whatever, ask them, how does their beliefs show, manifest in their lifestyles? Because some people are so vindictive, you have no idea. They might be religious in their religious buildings, but wicked and revengeful souls outside their religious buildings. When they tell you, media we madina kama kuma me fanchawa, don't think they are joking. Don't think they are joking. Mark them. And when you are living with such people, check the way you treat them. Because they've forgiven you, but they are waiting for opportunities to pay you back big time. People can even intervene. Sometimes you can have a meeting, your family heads can sit down and apologize on your behalf. Your church leaders might apologize on your behalf. Friends and family might apologize on your behalf. And yet, these people would find ways when Kabia, they come and turn him back. Marriage is a journey of ups and downs. But when conflicts go unresolved for years, resentment builds. And that is why this week, recalculate your life, your love life, your marriage, and begin doing the needful. The difficult and yet necessary conversations, it's about time you had them. Because if your relationship is not thriving, then it's struggling. Many long-term marriages are filled with unspoken grievances, emotional wounds, and suppressed disappointments. When these issues are not addressed, they fester beneath the surface until one or both partners decide they can no longer live with the pain. And sometimes when people are going through this pain, they try to hide their pain by portraying a public facade of having a successful relationship. So when you see people struggling to prove a point that they have a beautiful union, chances are they are going through so much pain and hurtful moments. What appears to many of you to be a sudden divorce is often the result of years of unresolved tension. It wasn't sudden. No divorce is sudden. As a matter of fact, let me tell you today, that if you believe in God, then understand that God sees many marriages as divorced. Because when you study the process of divorce, what many people have is just contact, living together in the same home, under the impression of marriage. But spiritually, they are disconnected. Emotionally, they are disconnected. That is not marriage. What appears to be a sudden divorce is often a result of many years of unresolved tension, years of trying to look good together, years of putting up a public facade of a successful marriage. If there's something you must do this week, go ahead and do it for your own sanity and growth. Have that difficult and yet necessary conversation. No woman just pick a bath one day and decide to live a beautiful union. No man marries with the notion that this woman me pesikaye no one day, but me janike. No. Things happen along the line. And it's so unfortunate that two adults can sit down to have the difficult and yet necessary conversation. Sometimes you can feel, sense and notice that your partner is not happy with you, and you not even give him or her the opportunity to have a conversation with you. That's why I tell men, I think it shouldn't just be a man's thing, because some men, they call it nag. So it's supposed to be both the husband and his wife. If you find a partner who speaks, who tells you what he or she is not happy about, how you can improve, how you can make amends to have a better relationship, don't think he or she is nagging. Continue to thank God for such a partner, because the very day they keep quiet, they are thinking of a way out. They are giving up on you and the marriage. So don't shut your spouses up when they bring out things they are not excited about. Let them talk. Sometimes just listening without even taking action, or going through with them what must be done, and getting your own rules of engagement will help both of you. If you think they are just nagging and you shut them up, know that one day you have the surprise, because they'll pick their things and leave, and you wonder why this sudden divorce. They have divorced you in their hearts many years ago. Number 6, infidelity and betrayal. Infidelity does not only occur in young marriages. It happens in long-term unions as well. And just like I said, many of these things begin happening when there's a problem in the home. And that is why I hear women saying, it is because he went for another woman, that is why the marriage collapsed. I just wink and pass. Instead of finding what must be done in the marriage to get it alive, you are thinking of what took him or her out. Who in his best wisdom and sense would just pick his or her plate and go out and eat when all the dishes he or she wants are served at home? Am I giving anybody a license? No. Some of your husband's souls are bleeding to death. You have no idea. Many of the women, you call them strange women, is taking these women to hold your man, your husbands up. Sometimes women just want to talk and you are emotionally checked out. It's taking other people to sustain them. Their emotional health, their sanity is intact because they got people to listen to them when you are emotionally unavailable. You consider it a betrayal, but that is what sustained them and their sanity. Some people seek emotional or physical connection outside their marriage when they feel neglected, unappreciated, or trapped. A betrayal, even after many years, can shatter the foundation of trust, making it impossible to rebuild what once seems solid. But you see, regardless of the state of your relationship, if you decide today, both of you actually, not just one person, if both of you decide to make it to work, forgetting about everything that has happened, starting today from here, none of us can go back to the very beginning to begin all over again. But you can decide to begin today, regardless of what you've been through, and you can still have a beautiful ending. Everything depends on you. Either you hold on to the pain or you make it to work. So, a betrayal, even after many years, can shatter the foundation of trust, making it impossible to rebuild what seems solid. That is what some people think. They might forgive, but then they are looking for their exit from that very moment. Number 7, societal and religious expectations versus personal fulfillment. Religion and culture often pressure couples to stay together no matter what. As a matter of fact, I said in this book, why marriage is supposed to be a long-term business. Because you see, the same person you think has betrayed you today, that your soul is bleeding, can tomorrow, in the next year, in the next, can be so much a blessing to you. You ask yourself, what would have happened if I have let him or her go? People change. People get different perspectives and understanding. And of course, their paradigms change. And the way they treat you would equally change. If you leave when things are so bad, chances are you capitalize on the losses. You won't have any profits. But then again, it takes two people to make it work. One person can never make a relationship thriving. So there are some people, regardless of how you apologize and how they claim to forgive you, once you betray their trust, they are looking for their exit from that very moment. Number 7, societal and religious expectations versus personal fulfillment. Many people got married when they didn't even know who they were, what they want, and where they want to go with their lives. And that's why a lot of people say marriage is the eye-opening. They discovered who they are and their self-actualization in the course of the marriage, and realized this person can never take me to that providential way. And yet they are stuck because of societal and religious expectations versus their personal fulfillment. Religion and culture often pressure people to stay together no matter what. How beautiful it is for couples who married as ignorant and naive to evolve together. Many people stay in unhappy marriages for decades to avoid judgment or to maintain a facade of stability. However, personal happiness, self-actualization, and mental well-being cannot be ignored forever. Some individuals reach a stage where they choose personal peace over societal approval. So regardless of what religion and society will say, they will still move on because they realize there's no growth. As long as they are married to these people, to this person who is refusing to evolve together with them, they can't go anywhere with their lives. Even if it means going against religious doctrines, they will still work out. And that is why we are supposed to have these difficult and yet necessary conversations. We are not just supposed to get married and it ends there. We are supposed to grow, become better. Let our partners be proud of us because they see us evolving. If not, then what is it? Number 8, the stigma around divorce fades over time. Yeah. Regardless of what we want to believe, people can still walk away. People can still divorce. You can put all the scriptures. People's self-actualization is very much important to them in this life. and in this generation. And they are ready to face the world regardless of the stigma people hang on their necks. In past generations, divorce was highly stigmatized, especially for women. Because she can't take care of herself. And in our parts of the world, that when you leave a dysfunctional marriage, a man can look at you in the face and say, you know you don't have money. I will see how you and the children will survive. Yeah. That is it. So the women were stuck. Today, it is no more like that. Many endured toxic or unfulfilling marriages simply because they felt they had no choice. They couldn't feed themselves, clothe themselves, take care of their children, so they had to be there and die, gaining martyrship in dying out of dysfunctional marriage. However, in modern society, divorce is no longer seen as a failure, but rather as a choice for personal actualization. As people lived longer and prioritized mental well-being, more are willing to walk away from marriages that no longer serve them. What do? We are the society. When we change, society changes. Would we continually glorify struggle marriages instead of finding how we can make them thriving? Do we take pride in people losing their sanity, all in the name of staying married to partners who are not ready, willing, and able to evolve and grow up? A lot of people are growing older, but it's just a handful that are growing up. Would you want to be stuck with a person who doesn't want to grow up? Some will never share openly the reasons why they divorced. Neither would they go in for anyone to. They only needed their peace of mind. And that is why, if you can't make a person better, if you can't help a person to evolve to become better, at least don't make them miserable than you took them in as a spouse. At this age, people are trading everything just to uphold their self-actualization and their peace of mind, regardless of the interpretation and the doctrinal examples you give. Number 9, the process of divorce, just like I said, from spiritual disconnection to parting ways. Divorce is not an event. As we hear people's divorce in social media, and we are like, really? Yes, they've been divorced long time ago. It's because you were not looking out for things that those who have been trained looked out for. Divorce is not an event that just occurs. It is a process that often begins a long time, even before legal papers are signed. The first stage is spiritual disconnection, just like I said. Why do you feel disconnected from a person? Why do you sense something is wrong? Whereby you don't have any evidence, so you can't even confront your partner. You can't even have a conversation around it, but you feel there is something wrong. Marriage is not just an emotional thing. It is a spiritual connection. And that's why when I see this generation, people having sex as fun, I just wink and pass. The connection, the bond that sex brings to us, we have no idea. So marriage is a spiritual thing. Take away the religious aspect of it. Marriage is spiritual. So divorce is not just an event. It is a process that begins long before papers are signed. The first stage is spiritual disconnection. When spiritually you don't even care about your partner anymore. Why is it that sometimes, even when your partner is lying to you, you feel it? You don't have evidence, but you feel it. When they are disconnecting from you, you sense it, you feel it. Some might be pretend still to be nice, but you feel there is a disconnection because marriage is spiritual. When people are going through divorce or when they give up on their marriages, spiritually, they begin disconnecting. Spiritually, they begin disconnecting. Many of the things you used to do together, it doesn't bother them anymore. They don't care whether you do it or not. They won't bring them up for discussion anymore. Where one partner or both partners feel emotionally and spiritually detached. People can emotionally detach so much that when they open a space, a place, whether it's your home, a restaurant, a public or a private space, and see their partners with other people of the opposite sex, they don't feel anything anymore. Emotionally, they've disconnected. Whatever you do with your life, they don't care anymore. In their minds, you can be with anybody you want. They don't care. And because they've not brought divorce up for discussion, they think you are still married to them. No, you have left their hearts. Sometimes we any party yeah maybe baby and we free na come mu. Nti oni would feel, but any to be any wabayama ne be any free because we have so many opportunities to treat him or treat her well, but they took them for granted. Spiritually, emotionally, they detach from the marriage and they detach from you. They may pray for strength, seek guidance, or wrestle with feelings of guilt and failure. But divorce has already taken place in their hearts. So divorce is not the day that your partner walks to you and say, I want to live. I want to live. I want a divorce. They've already divorced you in their hearts many years ago. Next comes emotional and psychological separation. This is where partners begin to withdraw, setting up emotional walls to protect themselves. This is the point that they are good people. Some people are naturally good people. They never dreamt that a time in their lives will come, they would have to go through divorce. But they are dying. Either they give up on themselves and go waste and die. You know, death is not just the natural death we see. Many people are walking deaths. Their souls have already given up on them because of the pain they've allowed themselves to go through. So this is where they begin setting emotional walls. At this point, some can even give you sex, but you know that kind of sex that people do as a duty. No connection, as a duty. They have started divorcing you long time in their hearts. Communication breaks down. Intimacy fades. And they may live like roommates rather than spouses. That is the point that we won't crash. I cannot be any hope for you anymore. They don't think about you. They don't feel anything for you. They are just waiting for the opportunity, the courage to voice out that they want out. Seek therapy when you identify these signs. Don't think it's normal. It is not. Don't think things will work by themselves. No. These things don't work by themselves. Some will seek therapy, while others silently accept their reality. Some people know, so regardless of how they try, this relationship will never bring their soul and their spirit the satisfaction they need in order to get to the next level of their lives. So sometimes the people take decisions that break their hearts but revive their souls and their spirits. And don't think divorce is easy for anybody. Nobody. Even those who are out there talking and portraying to be excited and to them they have freedom. No, they are still bleeding. They are still bleeding. That is how some people deal with pain and trauma. Until it hits them one day and they open up for you to know it wasn't just happiness. They are broken people. So this is the point that should they walk in on their partner, just like I said, Even in uncompromising situations, they don't care. They have given up. If your partner consistently sees you with other people and you think, what's for my wife? She's the quiet type. She's given up on you long time. She's divorced you in her heart long time ago. She doesn't care what you do with yourself. She's just looking for reasons, for opportune moments to come with a shock. Some people are holding on because they can't take care of the children financially all by themselves. They are waiting for these children to at least finish first degree, be on their own, and then realize, oh, there was nothing like marriage. You are all alone, all by yourself. This is the point that some would even wish that their partners die or something bad should happen to them so that the whole world will see how bad, how evil, or whatever they are. Just say, you have left their hearts long time ago. You can be naked and all they feel for naked in front of them, naked around them, and all they feel for you is disgust. Even if they give you sex, it's out of duty. As long as they are under the same roof with you and they don't want you to know they've divorced you in their hearts, they will still be dutiful to you. As long as they can financially take care of themselves, they will still give you the sex, but it is never the same, and you know it. They are looking for their exit. Legal separation can follow, but before you get to this point, divorce has already taken place. It is just contact, and the contact means living together as roommates. What society and religion applauds is people living together, contacts. When all the signs are there that marriage is troubling, that the marriage is going through series of troubles, nobody would care. One day they will hear that there is separation. Finally, there's divorce, and then everybody's like, how come? Your partner has divorced you long time, many years ago. Many years ago, even before the official divorce decree is granted, some people have divorced you in their hearts many years ago. I know at this point you might be asking, is there nothing that we can do? There are lots of things that you can do. But the question a lot of people are equally asking, what happens when fighting for the marriage becomes a self-sabotaging agenda? Because the reasons why the person wants out are not solved or resolved. So if they leave, what are they living for? When you say fight for your marriage, I support that agenda, I support that notion. But let's analyze it. What is your partner supposed to fight for? The aggression, the indifference, the disrespect? What exactly is your partner supposed to fight for? The refusing to grow up. There is a fine line between fighting for a marriage and losing oneself in the process. Especially those guided by societal expectations and religious beliefs. They continue to fight for the marriage even when it is no longer serving them. Because they don't want religion. They don't want the church to know that they are no more together. Hey, what will people say? That is it. That is it. But you see, in the resurrection, there is no marriage. So either we make it work, or we make it work. Because there comes a time that fighting for the marriage becomes a self-sabotaging agenda. In the resurrection, there is no marriage. You would have to account for your life, the life you lived, not just being a spouse. Should people suppress their own emotional needs, endure disrespect, and sacrifice their mental health in the hope of making things work? These are hypothetical questions you don't need to answer anybody. However, a marriage should not be a prison where one partner constantly gives while the other takes. Self-sacrifice without reciprocity leads to resentment, burnout, and a loss of self-worth. There are lots of men out there that you think a map and a no. Everything in skirts and blouse they want, no. Because they are losing their self-worth. And the only thing that makes them feel man enough is when they have other variety of women who, because of their money, will make them feel good. Because in their home, there is fire on the mountain. They have been reduced to stay in a marriage out of fear, guilt, or societal pressure can do more harm than good. So if you want marriage, then let's make marriages work. True love and partnership should be mutual, built on respect, effort, and emotional safety. Yesterday I was sharing how some men picked their women from nowhere, upgraded their lives. Some women have equally done the same. Some are still struggling, even when they are willing and ready to make all the provision available to enable their spouses to grow up and evolve, and these women and these men will never do so. So knowing when to let go is not an act of failure, but an act of self-preservation and wisdom. It doesn't mean if there is something both of you can do to preserve this beautiful union, you shouldn't. So my question to round up with, to you, just like I said, you don't need to answer me. What does a successful relationship mean to you? Is it by longevity? Oh, you've been married for 10, 20, 30 years. Hooray! Is that what a successful relationship means to you? Counting the years? Or a successful relationship is measured by the quality of the relationship, the respect, the love, the harmony, the companionship? Would you just count the years with all the indifference, the contempt, the neglect, the violence, the microaggression, when you could have had a beautiful union? What do you want? A struggle marriage to let society and religion think and feel that you are married when your soul is bleeding to death, or to do whatever it takes to make your marriage thriving instead of struggling? In conclusion, marriage must be nurtured to last. Marriages don't just last by themselves. That would just be by measure of longevity. If you want it to thrive, a partner you can wake up beside and say, I am glad I chose you. Then it comes with nurturing. It must be nurtured to last. A lot of people in their 50s and early 60s and beyond are going through one autoimmune disease or the other, all because of dysfunctional marriages. That they are afraid to walk out. They are afraid of judgment, and yet they are not willing, ready to work at it too. Your partner can't have any meaningful conversation with you. It will turn into something else. You can't sit down as married couples for even 1 hour to watch television and discuss whatever you watch, to go for a walk holding hands together. No. So what do you have? Is that true marriage? A beautiful marriage is not defined by the number of years together, but by the quality of the relationship. Love, mutual respect, care, support, understanding, and partnership shared. Long-term marriages do not fail overnight. They fail slowly. So today, reassess, re-examine yourself to find out whether you are still in the heart of your spouse. If not, what must you do? Long-term marriages do not fail overnight. They fail slowly. often over years of emotional neglect or met needs and suppressed happiness. That same woman you think was for my wife, she doesn't enjoy sex. Wait. That same woman can hear another man's voice and all her body will stand attention, will be aroused. It is your voice that has become the problem because of the way you have treated her over the years. That man you think can't satisfy you sexually because he's a 2 minutes, a whatever man, right? That same man can meet another woman and function like he did when you got married earlier. You are the problem. It is easier for us to point fingers at other people instead of searching deep within us to find out, what can I do right? What can I do better? How can I improve? How can this union be profitable to my spouse? Those questions we don't ask ourselves. We are only seeking what we will get from our partners. And that is why we are not going anywhere. To prevent such heartbreaks, couples must actively nurture their relationships. Open communication. And nothing about Belesti at DC 20 years ago. 20 years is no more. Today, how can you love him and how can you love him right? Today, not yesterday. Yesterday is already gone. Today, not tomorrow. How can you love him and love her right? How can you do right by him or by her? Open communication. Some of you say, I want the truth, and yet you don't marinate. You haven't matured enough for the truth. You can't have any open communication. Trouble, assembly, emotional intimacy. Many of you are just receiving without thinking that you can equally emotionally pour into your partner. Shared growth, growing together side by side, and genuine appreciation for each other are crucial. Marriage is not about endurance alone. We are tired of endurance. Why can't we enjoy too? Even if it's better for worse, why should the moment just be worse? From one worse encounter to another worse encounter to another worse encounter. What about the better moments? It is about thriving together, not just endurance. We are tired of endurance. We want to enjoy. We want to thrive. We want to grow up side by side. So let this be a lesson, not just to those who have experienced divorce, but to those still married or planning to be, that a long marriage is not necessarily a blessed and a purposeful one. People have been married for 40 years and above. But when you sit down one-on-one with them and listen to their story, you wonder why and what has kept them alive all these years. That is not marriage. That is something I don't want to mention. A long marriage is not necessarily blessed and purposeful one. If you want marriages to be purposeful, we should act intentionally, deliberately, and purposefully too. If you want our marriages to be a glorified one, it should never be sacrificed in the name of appearances, to let the world feel and think that all is well. That somebody can look at the partner's face and say, everybody thinks I'm good. Everybody knows I'm a good person. So even when you tell people that I am treating you this way, they won't believe it. Are you human? And then Sunday you go into church and lift up holy hands, worshiping to who exactly? Marriages will not work by themselves. We will have to make them work. And if you want thriving marriages, we would have to invest into the relationships. So this is the week of Valentine. You can choose to have a Valentine any day. But as the whole world celebrates Valentine's Day on Friday, let's reconsider our love lives. A lot of women are going through menopause in their 50s, but because they have beautiful marriages, you don't even see. Some people are going through the same menopause and they become like caricatures. You meet them and you greet them and you're in trouble. You don't greet them and you're in trouble. All because of dysfunctional marriages. Some can't even perform in their fullest capacity in their offices because of what they are going through in their offices. People are driving absent-minded for minutes, all because of the pain they are enduring in their homes. Why should this be our portion? Why should this be our portion? Let's make marriages thrive, not just to endure from one endurance to another endurance. In the week of Valentine, what are you preparing for your partner? Are you in there to only receive, or you are thinking of what to give, how to bless his or his soul to? Can you make amends for many of the pain you've caused him or her, so you can begin again? You've divorced him in your heart. You've divorced her in your hearts, but you are still living together. So you will end up suffering the more. Can you forgive and begin all over again? Everything depends on you. You can continue to endure. You can decide to make it work too. And should it work, you are the one to equally enjoy. So why wouldn't you make it work? Until I come your way again tomorrow, think about these things and accept that nobody is immune from divorce. Don't think your marriage is so much grounded. It takes two people to make a marriage thrive. It takes two people to make a marriage work. It can only work when both of you are to work. Not when you think it is your partner's responsibility. She is the woman. She has to change. She has to serve me. She has to do this, as if she is not a human being. He is the man. He is supposed to know. He is supposed to do. He is supposed to, as if you are not a human being. Let's have these difficult and yet necessary conversations, because our children are watching. They are picking paradigms of marriage from the way we are relating with each other. Until I come your way again tomorrow, I say much love and blessings. Bye for now.